Hi, I'm Katya from Mockup House, and today I'm going to show you how to use a Mockup House mockup using Photoshop. Okay, for this demonstration, we're using Mockup House number 0286, which is an A4 paper mockup, but you'll be using whichever mockup you've purchased and downloaded from Etsy. So once you have your PSD file opened in Photoshop, the first thing I want you to notice is this tab right here. Okay, tabs in Photoshop work the same way as they work in a browser. If you have multiple projects open, you're going to have multiple tabs side by side. So keep that in your mind, and we're going to come back to that later. The next thing I want you to notice is the layers panel over here on the right. If you ever don't see the layers panel, we need to turn it on. The layers is something we interact with heavily when using the mockup, so we need to always have that. So sometimes it can disappear, you can close it by accident or whatever, but if that happens, no worries. Go up here to Window and make sure that the layers panel is checked. Okay, if it's unchecked, that means it was turned off, and just go ahead and click it and it will come back on. Okay, the next thing I want you to notice is the color coding. So this color coding, I began implementing that partially into my mockup creation journey. So the beginning mockups in our shop do not have the color coding. But I'm going to tell you what it's for any of the later ones it has it. It's really just to add some clarity and to help you know what you're working with. So the bottom layer is red, and that anything that's red you do not or should not interact with. There's no reason to interact with this layer. Yellow or orange, it could also be orange. Yellow is usually a color change, and orange is usually an added texture. Both of those, you can definitely interact with them. However, they're not necessary when using the mockup, so they're optional. It's extra, okay? The green is you do need to interact with that layer when using the mockup, so usually it's going to be add the art layer. In order to use the mockup, you're going to be adding your design. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with that. If you ever can't see the full instruction, you can go ahead and pull this side panel out so you can see the instruction better, okay? But all the instructions are over here, and you can generally work top down. So I've designed it so that if you start from the first, second, third, and if there's more, you can just go top down and work that way, and you should be good to go. Okay, so the top layer says double click thumbnail to add your design. So we're going to go ahead and double click this thumbnail. If you ever see two thumbnails, okay, and sometimes the green layers do have two thumbnails, we're never ever going to interact with a second thumbnail. We only ever have to interact with the first thumbnail. Okay, this one only has one, but in a case where there's two, it's only ever the first. Okay, we're going to double click on this thumbnail, and now you'll notice a second tab opened up. So now you have two tabs. So it opened up a completely new file, okay? And this, whatever we put into this artboard, onto this artboard, is what's going to be inserted into your mockup. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drag our artwork, find your artwork, and drag it onto this artboard. Now, this artboard is sized for A4, so our artwork is also sized for A4, but it's a little bit smaller than the artboard, and that just means that the overall file size is smaller. It doesn't matter. Just size it up to how you'd like it to be. If you want to be able to manipulate the shape of it, so go ahead and uncheck that chain, and you can like squash it or do whatever you want to do with your design. And once you have it how you like it, go ahead and click this check mark. You could also press enter or return. And now it's ready to go. But the next step is what actually inserts it into the mockup. And this step is often overlooked, so pay close attention. We need to save it. We need to save this file here, and when it's saved, that's when it gets inserted into the mockup. So go ahead and click File and Save, or Command S or Control S, okay? And once it's saved, see it's saving 99%. Now it's saved. You can close out this tab, or you can just click back there, but if you close it out, we're done with it, so we don't need it right now. So go ahead and close it out, and you see it's been inserted into your mockup. So now technically you can be done, okay? However, if you'd like to, we can go down to this layer over here, the yellow layer, background, double click first thumbnail to select color. So remember, always the first thumbnail. So we're going to double click on this thumbnail, and you have a color picker pop up. And you can click any color. You can go here, change this, or you can go to the design and click anywhere on your design to find the color that you like. So I like that color, so we're going to choose that and go ahead and click OK. All right, and now your file is done. At this point, you can add one of our PNG digital stickers to the file if you'd like. I've designed these PNG digital stickers for use with our mockups. And I had already pre-selected one, so I dragged it on. To access this collection, go to look down below in the description. I'll leave the link down there, and it's completely free. So you see how when it came onto the artboard, it came underneath this layer. So that's not going to work. We need it to be at the top. The sticker always has to be at the top. So go ahead and click this check mark to accept the design, and then we're going to drag this layer above the green layer. The digital sticker has to always be at the top. So then we're going to click on the movement button to give it the, no, not that, one second, the move tool here. And that will enable us to adjust this how we'd like it to be. Okay, so now we can just change it. Oops, I had taken off the chain. The chain keeps it proportional. So let's go ahead and adjust that to how we'd like it to be. There we go. That's good. And go ahead and click the check mark or enter or return. And then you could adjust the opacity if you'd like. There we go. Okay, so once you like it, you're done, and you can go ahead and we need to now export it. So you're not going to save, because if you save, you're saving this artwork into the original file. But the next time you use this mockup, you want to be able to have a clean mockup that you're ready, put fresh artwork in. So go ahead, instead of clicking save, we're going to do export, okay? And export as. Okay, and then just select whatever the specifications you'd like. So I like to make it the highest quality. I like to keep it JPEG, but if you like to save it as PNG, you can save it as PNG. And then after this, you click export, and you'll save it onto your computer the way you would save any other document. And that's it, and you have a mockup ready to go. All right, thank you so much for watching, and happy creating. Until next time.